Hey yo everybody, Haku here with this week's HaQ&A video where I'm going to be discussing and responding to your questions and comments and all of that, same as every week. And yeah, so let's get into some questions and comments, but first a couple things that we should talk about. I mentioned it in two of my other videos that I recorded today, that there is a hurricane coming to fuck my shit up. But seriously, it's a pretty big hurricane, pretty violent in the Caribbean right now, and it is moving towards the east coast of the United States where I live. And yeah, so things could be pretty rough. Things could be pretty bad. Worst case scenario, if you guys don't see any videos for a while, my power went out or worse. But I'm not too worried about it. I'm just hoping and praying so much that it just turns off out into the Atlantic somewhere or just dies out. Either of those would be quite nice. But yeah, so if things are pushed back a bit or I don't upload videos for a few days, it's because the storm was too bad for me to work on videos, or my power went out and I couldn't upload videos or work on videos. So yeah, if you don't see anything, it's probably because of the storm, and I'll be back this weekend or next week, because I think it's supposed to hit here around Friday and Saturday. So yeah, Friday and Saturday if there aren't videos, maybe even Sunday as well if there aren't videos. Just things will be up next week that I had planned but wasn't able to do over the weekend. And oh man, that is just going to be a pain in the ass on the schedule, you know, having to push everything back and then do the stuff for next week. It's going to be crazy. So hopefully the storm is just not that bad. I really hope. Also, before recording this, I think we left off last week in my comments. I think we left off right. We answered some Tower of God questions at the end, trying to remember where I left off in this comment chain. But I had just talked with, I think Ike Pavlovic was in here. Yeah, and we were, I was discussing 12 Beasts and how it turned out to be way, way better than expected. And yeah, if you guys have not read 12 Beasts, you need to get on that shit. It's a sort of a action-adventure shonen manga, and it just started. It's only, 18 chapters out so far. And it is so freaking good. Arc just ended. I just recorded the live reaction and review to it, and I loved it. And yeah, because I'm a real huge fan. I said even months ago, I was like, Okayado, who is the mangaka, I was like, this dude is so talented, and he's also the mangaka for Monster Musume no Iru Nichijo, which I cover on the channel, and it's sort of a deconstruction of the harem genre, sort of takes the tropes of the harem genre and puts its own spin on it to both make fun of it and utilize it at the same time. And I typically like deconstructions. I think they're usually pretty well thought out. But I really like Monster Musume, and I was like, the art is so incredible. He is probably the best artist in my opinion in manga that I've seen. Just the buildings and landscapes and stuff in Monmusu, and since it was just a normal everyday romantic harem comedy deconstruction, they weren't really that they were just normal everyday backdrops and landscapes and stuff, but they looked so nice. The art was amazing, and I was like, this dude, I love Monmusu, but I was like, I almost feel like he is wasting his talent not putting that sort of art talent to a shonen or action adventure, something like that. And then what do you know, he writes 12 Beasts, and we have a shonen action adventure to talk about, and it's incredible. The art, again, my favorite in manga, I think. And so yeah, if you guys want to see that, the first few chapters, I'm not gonna lie, I thought were a little bit off maybe, but then it started to find its pace, and now I really like it even more than, say, Fairy Tail when it comes to story and everything, and I'm just enjoying it a lot. So would definitely recommend that, and also definitely recommend I will probably post, I don't know if I'm going to post the review after this, but I just yesterday recorded my review for episode 1 of Mahou Shoujo Ikse Keikaku, or Magical Girl Raising Project, which is the anime I'm covering for this season, and it was really, really freaking good. So I would also recommend just checking it out and seeing if it's your thing, because I really enjoyed it. But let's get into the actual questions. This one I'm not going to read totally out because it's just a bunch of giant paragraphs. But it was Yodazuya White Bear Beppo just pointing out that I really shouldn't call Luffy versus Cracker an ass pull or bullshit just yet, since we really don't quite know all the details and we need to figure out what's happening. And he listed off some of the things that could possibly be factors in it. And I just kind of agreed that, yeah, and I was like, I'm really hoping that Oda proves me wrong really badly because I want to like it, so I hope I'm proven wrong. And today's chapter of One Piece, I do feel like it proved enough to prove me wrong. I think it did enough to make it so it's good clarification. Yeah, that was my problem. I was like, it's an ass pull or something if we don't get some clarification next chapter. And I liked that we did get the clarification this chapter, so it worked out. So yeah, that's why I'm not going to read the whole paragraph, because it was pretty much, it boils down to things worked out this week. Marek Infotube said, nice review. About the One Piece chapter last week. Me too. I didn't like the flashback so much. It's the same as Robin's. It's the same as Robin's. Law's flashbacks touched me more than Sanji's. And yeah, I liked the Sanji flashback. I just didn't think it was that big a deal. And a lot of One Piece flashbacks, I really, really love. But this one, I was like, it's good, but it's not one of those huge series, one of the big series defining moments or anything. Anime Watcher said about my review of the finale of 91 Days, this episode flew by so fast for me, I can't even think about my feelings for this show. I'll rewatch it when the dub comes out so that I can get my thoughts together. It's rare that we get a 12-episode series that ended quite nicely and happens to be an anime original. It's been fun watching it, and it's got me in the mood for Baccano sometime when I'm not watching too much other anime. Yeah, I still need to see Baccano, honestly, but I really enjoyed 91 Days, and it's to the point where it did have its flaws here and there, but overall it's one of the best anime that I think I've seen, or at least one of my favorites that I've seen. I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I think a lot of 12-episode anime originals have been good. I mean, sure, not like really recently, and it doesn't happen all the time, but I think there are some good ones. Kiesniver was pretty good. It wasn't amazing or anything, but I thought overall it was pretty good. And then anime originals. Of course, I think Madoka Magica is the greatest piece of art ever made. It's not my favorite anime, but I can just recognize all the thought put in and all the effort and just artwork put in. Just makes it incredible. It had 3 hours of original soundtrack music for a 12-episode anime, which is completely insane. There was just so much and so many little details and stuff thrown into it that it really impresses me more than any other anime, I think. Even if it isn't my complete favorite. Dommel said on my live reaction last week to the One Piece chapter, I love it, and left a link to this recording microphone and everything. And thank you. I kept the comment because I think they were trying to recommend that I get this new microphone. So thank you. I will look at it, but I did just buy this new microphone, so I'm probably not going to buy one too soon unless something drastic happens to it. Peyton Deloach said on my October monthly update, keep up the good work. I just started watching your videos, but you're doing a great job, so thank you for what you do and keep up the good work. And thank you so much. The kind comments from all of you, because I get really kind comments from all of you guys. It really just gives me more motivation to improve what I put out, and just really makes me feel great. And some things that might not seem like improvements, the past few reviews, I've started having my notes with me, and instead of trying to do it all in one shot, I just look over at the notes and read from them whenever I need to. But I think that helps the quality, because when I'm trying to remember it, sometimes I sort of go slow where I'm trying to remember stuff, or I don't remember everything I wanted to say. So I like having the notes there, and just, even if it's distracting or it looks unprofessional, to just look over at them and read where I read the bullet point list where I'm trying to remember stuff. I think that way, since I don't have to remember it off the top of my head, I can just look at it and be like, okay, and then I can go off on like a 2-minute spree about that one point off the top of my head. And I think that makes it a lot more entertaining, and it helps me convey my actual feelings a lot better about the chapter or episode or whatever. So, yeah, that got a little off topic, but thank you for the comment, and it really, really does help. Niyala123 said, yes, I can't wait for your Walking Dead reviews. Thank you so very much. They also said, this idea might be crazy, but you should do a live reaction during the Walking Dead Season 7 premiere. I mean, you could just leave it open and then give us your comments during the agonizing commercials. Yeah, I have thought a lot about doing live reactions to The Walking Dead last season and the season coming, especially since it's going to be such a big episode. But I think I talked about it once before, months and months ago last season, and I was like, if I wanted to do it for the views, that would probably be the video. If I did a live reaction to an episode, especially a big episode of The Walking Dead, that'd probably be more views than I've ever gotten on any other video. But I don't do it for that. I just do it because I enjoy it and to share my thoughts on what I enjoy with you guys. And while I would love to share that, oh god, I just spit. I hope you couldn't see that, but then again, I pointed it out, so you probably could. But yeah, even though I've thought about it, it's like I like to watch The Walking Dead every Sunday. I watch it with my sister when it premieres because she's like a super fan of the show, and she's the one that got me into The Walking Dead in the first place. So I've thought about doing live reactions before, but I feel like if I did them, I would just be trying to convey my thoughts too much and trying to think too much and say stuff for the camera and everything. And when I go to watch it, I kind of just want to sit down and relax and enjoy my time. So I don't think I'm going to do live reactions for that, just because I like to sit and relax and enjoy my time. Shiny Sylveon said, I'm getting Moon when I was talking about the newest Pokemon trailer. And yeah, I was solidly set on getting Moon because I love Lunala, but then we find out that Midday Lycanroc is only available in Sun, and Midday Lycanroc is honestly the second best looking Pokemon design, my second favorite one in Sun and Moon so far, behind Lurantis. So if it's only available in Sun, I've got to get Sun just so that I can have the Midday Lycanroc. And heck, I might get Moon as well. I might just get both. But usually, or at least most of the time, I feel like you can get both legendaries in either copy. It's just when in the story you get them depends on which one you get. So, I mean, I could still get Lunala and Sun, probably, maybe. Jacob Jung said, funny watching a white guy call himself Haku. And I said it was very much intentional. I mean, that's not the meaning behind the name, but I do realize, and I have realized from the beginning, that Haku does mean white in Japanese, or it's a way to say white. So I was like, I mean, that's not really related to why the channel name is Haku and everything, but it's just funny, and I'm like, I don't mind it. It's cool. But sorry, that was kind of I kind of lost my words for that one. But Bull1991 has said, my boy Hatsu's gonna fuck that princess up, and not in a good way. Keep up the good work, Haku. Thanks a ton, and I am so hyped to see Hatsu fight more. I do not think we get to see him fight enough, and I am very, very much excited. And he said, you're most welcome. That ignition sword looks so sick, though, and yeah, I friggin' love the Donghae. Peyton DeLoach said, does anybody know when the TV show of Monster Musume will start back? And yeah, I said that there's going to be an OVA for it in November covering the Pult intro chapter from the manga, but no word on season 2. And to get more in depth with that, the Pult info chapter, for some reason they skipped over it in the anime, even though it would, if they were following the manga, it should have been in there. And it was one of my favorite chapters just because Pult is one of my favorite characters. So I was really disappointed that it wasn't in the anime. So I'm very excited that it's getting its own OVA, or I think it's technically called an OAD is what they're calling it, but either way. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. But yeah, no words on season 2, and season 1 covered like, I think, maybe close to 20 chapters of the manga, maybe not that many, I don't know, maybe around 20. And right now we're only at like 45 or 46 chapters overall, I think 45. So I think we might have a while before we get a season 2, unless they just sort of do it as a filler thing, or unless they pace it slower. Which I'd be totally happy with them pacing it slower, because I think there's a lot they could do within canon filler or with original storyline. And I also think that taking it slower, there's a lot of content in the manga that they could flesh out more and make it work. So I don't think we'll have a season 2 for a while, but it is really, really popular. And also, season 1 did really well. And I think a season 2 coming early could be possible as well. Yurazuya White Bear Beppo said about the Tower of God chapter, HaQ! Yes, it is the HaQ, the most HaQ. I loved the Bomb and Kaiser stuff, and I've been loving that every week. But seeing Shiliel and Hatsu again just took it to the next level, because I love both of them, and we have not seen enough. Like, I know we've only known about Shiliel or seen Shiliel a couple of times, but I already really love Shiliel's design and the sword she uses, even though it got broken. I really like the character. Then Rangel Ebert said, wonderful, damn, OP Bomb all fucked up and still able to easily act as he wishes. And I like how he describes Shinsu. That seems to be important, since from the beginning he has a close relationship to Shinsu manipulation. And maybe this is added for us about what Shinsu actually is and how it behaves. Also, I was kind of worried about Kaiser being a real threat to Bomb, who fought extremely powerful opponents like Joaquin. So it makes sense that Bomb can easily dodge and act like that now, showing that Kaiser is truly inferior compared to him, though she has pretty good tricks and skills. Yet last chapter they speculated that Kaiser's real potential shows off when she's cornered. I wonder if they'll actually show Kaiser's true power, like she loses the shields and finally her cape and mask, and then she starts fighting with her true power, because that could be interesting, or maybe I'm just thinking too much. Anyway, great chapter. I'm amazed how good Tower of God got on this Name Hunt Station saga. And yeah, I absolutely love this arc, and I loved all the points you made. And I feel like the arc is doing really well. I wouldn't call her... I feel like inferior is a really loaded word, even though it's sort of true. It sort of seems like an extreme kind of true. But I think it's doing well to show that Kaiser is very, very powerful, and that she is a real threat to Bomb. But even being a threat, she's not up to his level, not up to Joaquin's level, even though she is incredibly powerful and still a threat in her own way. Emrys Mearden, sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, said, isn't Lopo Be a Family the 10th on my old, I said, yeah, but this video is pretty old, because it was on my old prediction video of who I thought the 10th family might be. And it's crazy to remember that far back, like almost a year ago, some of the prediction videos. I don't even really remember all of them, because I used to do Tower of God predictions or theories or whatever like once every week or two. And I think that's a big reason too why I don't do them as much anymore, is just because I covered I covered who I thought the 10th family might be, what I thought Bomb's origins might be. I talked about so much that I'm like, I don't really have enough topics to do it every week without it being boring or rushed. So that's why I only do it when I feel like it now, because I don't want it to be boring or rushed. Craig Emberson said about the new about the new Pokemon mid-stage starter evolutions. This pretty much confirms the leaks. Dartrix is starting to cover its face with its hair, and a hood's the only natural extension of that. It's also developing the same feather pattern under its wings. Torcat has that fireball as a collar, and the flames that extend from it look exactly like what becomes the final evolution's belt. Also, it has the same shape as the two Pokemon that the final evolution is seen training with, lifting on each arm. Brionne is taking on the lighter coloration and has the more feminine image that the final leaked evolution had. Then there's the fact that Mallow was in the images, and the same guy who leaked them has been throwing cryptic hints where the majority have come true, though some have been very slightly inaccurate, with little details, but generally got the concept right. And yeah, I even said it in my live reaction. I was like, the leaks are 100% true, because they came out months ago, and I feel like just The Mallow stuff definitely confirms it, because Mallow wasn't announced for the game yet, and she was in the leaks. But even more confirmation, there is no way that some random dude off in China or something could just predict off the top of their head that Poplio was going to evolve into a feminine evolutionary line. So Brion being feminine 100% confirms it in my heart. And also I feel like Toracat is like bulking up from what Litten looked like, and it has the flame collar like you said. So you could tell, like, in my live reaction when I first saw that, I was like, okay, the leaks have to be true. And then when we saw Brion, I was like, okay, totally confirmed. And then, even though Dartrix is a little different, I think that Dartrix is closer to the leaked final evolution than, say, Duat is to Samurott. They don't look a thing alike, really. Or especially Quilladin is to Chestnut. Quilladin looks nothing like Chestnut. So it's definitely a very realistic possibility. And also the leaks might not be what the final ones we get look like, since it is just concept art. They might look similar, but they might look a bit different when they actually come out and get announced and revealed. But that said, I really like what... I'm going to be very, very happy if the leaks are true, because even though it looks like Litten's final evolution might be firefighting, and I think that's a terribly stupid idea, I still like it, honestly. I still like the way it looks, and I really love the way that Poplio and Rowlet's final evolutions look, so I'd be 100% just totally happy with them being true. Hang on, just checking to make sure my recording's still good. Yep, still looks fine. Okay, then Future Guy 2045 said, this was an awesome chapter. Tower of God seriously needs an anime. I just kept looking at some of these ridiculous series that somehow get an anime, but something as amazing as Tower of God isn't getting one simply because it's Korean. That's so stupid. I swear I need to win the lottery just so I can fund an anime of Tower of God. And yeah, honestly, I when I answered you in the comments, I kind of breezed over and didn't really think too much about that ridiculous stuff somehow getting an anime. But yeah, some really dumb shows or some really dumb series do somehow get anime, and I'm like, how'd they think that would actually work or anything? So yeah, you're right about that. But like, what I answered there and what I think is as the popularity keeps growing, and if SIU keeps pushing along with it, I think it'll definitely get stuff like an anime. But it's just going to be one of those things that takes time. And like I've said a bunch of times, I'd rather them take as many years as they need to and put out something good than to give us something that's bad, and then if they give us an anime and it turns out bad, they're probably not going to do another one. So I would rather them take whatever time they need and make sure it's good. And also, like, I would have never expected it to get a mobile game, especially at this point in time, without even an anime. So if it's already got a mobile game, I feel like the series' potential for being marketed is already being realized by a few people. So I think in the future it's completely possible that even though it is Korean, I think that it could very well get a full-on anime. Noblesse even got a couple OVAs by, I think even Production IG didn't make one of them, did they? But Noblesse got a couple of OVAs. I think that Tower of God could get more than that, though. I really feel like it could end up getting a full series, but it'll have to be in the future. Also, Ghost Emblem said, Lamau at Hatsu pulls out his dong during my review of this week's chapter. And yeah, the Donghae's out for Hatsu Rambe. Oh gosh. So yeah, and the Anime Watcher follows up on that. There's no telling how many dong jokes are going to be made at Hatsu's expense. I know I'm going to be making a lot of dong jokes. But either way, he said the fight between Bomb and Kaiser is reaching a whole other level. Sometime on my next reread, I gotta compare this fight with the other fights in Tower of God to see whether Bomb and Kaiser would be picked for my top 5 favorite fights in Tower of God. In fact, I might as well reread the Bomb and Kaiser fight once the next chapter is released. And I'm assuming he said that because next chapter, according to SIU's blog, is supposed to be the last chapter of the Bomb and Kaiser fight, if you guys didn't know. And also he said, I have a feeling that chapter 300 could be a sign of a big change for the story. I'll probably be a bit disappointed, but I'm going to keep my hopes up. I'm going to keep hopes up too, because I feel like chapter 300, because of the comments that SIU made about the fight ending in 299, and then we're moving towards this season's climax, I really think that we're going to be hitting some pretty big stuff really soon. So I would keep hopes up for some big stuff happening soon. And yeah, I have a feeling that Kaiser and Bomb could make it into my top 5 fights. I think it would probably, but there are just so many good fights in Tower of God. Like the Bomb against Ron and Novik fight, the Bomb Kun and Rack versus Reflejo fight, the Bomb versus Joaquin fight for me is obviously the best fight. I'm not sure that any quite live up to that. I think the entire Crown game, if I'm allowed to count the Crown game as a fight, was really cool because I love all the little fights that go on during that. Most of the fights in the Battle X Gamble were great, so there are a lot of really good fights in the series to think about. Also, Anime Watcher said, Hatsu stepping up the power tier. As soon as the name auction arc finishes, we need to update the power tier because there's going to be some upgrades and downgrades. Originally, I thought the name hunt station was going to be a quick arc with the rest of Bomb's team easily defeating the opposition, growing more stronger. But this arc proves that Bomb is really as strong as an irregular, or is really that strong as an irregular. Soon enough, he'll be strong enough to battle the hard princesses for days. And yeah, I agree with pretty much all of that. And one thing important in that comment that I agree with, I love seeing Hatsu step up. I love seeing him getting more focused because I feel like he's been he's been given important roles in the past, like the role he played during the workshop battle. But I don't feel like we've focused enough on his fighting ability, and I'm liking that we have seen him fight quite a bit more this arc. Seeing him against Kun there towards the beginning and now seeing him again, really great. Then last up for this week, Nero Gaming said, or maybe not last up, but Nero Gaming said, I love your video, keep working like that. Sorry, I'm not English, I'm French, and I don't really speak English, so tell me if I'm wrong. Do you think Bomb needs a new update for the next arc? And your English was perfectly fine, don't worry about it. I just hope that my English is good enough so that you can understand what I'm trying to convey. Because sometimes I feel like I look back during editing and I'm like, oh god, what did I say? But yeah, thank you very, very much. I think that Bomb is probably good for right now. I mean, we just had him get an update, as you said, or a power-up with the rice pot training, and that was pretty recent. So I don't think he needs another one this soon. I even said, like, way back towards when he first got on the train after Wooden Horse and going into a month, I was like, I don't know if he needs the rice pot training. I don't know if he needs the spirit power-up that Albelda gave him. I was like, I don't know if he needs all of those powers because we just got the Thorn. We just had some character development with him hearing the voice in his head and stuff. I was like, I don't know if we need a jump that quick, but we got that jump anyway. And I think, again, we just had the rice pot training. We just had the spirit powers. So I think after just having that, I don't think we need another one this soon. And it looks like I got another comment while recording. So that was, hold on. I'm just going to refresh the page. Let's see what it is before we end this video. It looks like, oh yeah, Nero Gaming replied again to that comment about the chapter, or commented again about the chapter. About the chapter, I just love it because when I read Tower of God, I love the feeling of seeing Bomb completely wreck his enemy, and I think Kaiser will join the harem of Bomb because whoever is going to win, Bomb has been bitten, and that makes me think Kaiser's the only one who can help him. Hatsu for Harambe, good night. Yo, my man, Hatsu Harambe. So yeah, I agree. I think that it's kind of going that way where Kaiser's backstory had the guy she was kind of in love with. I think there's a good, there's reasonable reason to, reasonable reason, but you can reasonably expect Kaiser to sort of fall for Bomb, especially when all the other princesses are falling for Bomb. So yeah, and also yeah, since he's been bitten, I think that I said earlier in the arc that I thought it was possible that Bomb might actually have to kill Kaiser, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure that he will. I think he's more likely to team up with Kaiser, because I think the fight ending next chapter, it doesn't make sense for Bomb to be able to just take down Kaiser so quickly next chapter, nor does it make that much sense for me. Of course, the ending with Bomb versus Joaquin came with a pretty long chapter, so it came pretty swiftly. But either way, it doesn't make sense to me for Bomb to just take down Kaiser next chapter, and it doesn't make sense either for her to take him down next chapter. So I feel like something's going to interrupt the fight, and they're going to have to team up and do stuff. And I've sort of been calling the Bomb and Kaiser team up for a while now, so I'm still thinking that. And yes, Hatsu for Harambe, Hatsu Harambe. The Donghaes are out. So anyway, that's it for this week's HaQ&A. Covered everything, 30 friggin' minutes. But either way, guys, I really enjoyed it. I love doing these videos so much. So I hope you guys like watching them as much as I like making them, because they're probably the funnest to make for me. But like if you did like this video, comment down there. Tell me what you thought about any of this. If you have anything else to ask, anything else you want me to discuss next week, just say, hey, go on a tangent about this. I'll talk about whatever and discuss whatever with you, and we can go back and forth in the comments, whatever you want. I really enjoy the community discussion aspect of the channel. So thank you once again for watching. I already said that. Subscribe for more of all the series we talked about here and more. Follow on Twitter if you want. I'll try to keep you updated there on stuff with the channel, though I'm not always that good at that. Just kind of suck at Twitter. But either way, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.